Hey, what's going on, everyone? Do you remember I reviewed this instrument cluster display not too long ago for Tesla Model 3 and Model Y, and it had a ton of features, including Apple CarPlay Android Auto. It had the blind spot detection system. It has got a multiple UI option. It had shortcut control buttons embedded within, so you could press and it would unlatch the door and such. So it had a lot of features built in, and a lot of you have been reaching out to me asking me to do a review on their Highland version. So we just picked up our Model 3 Highland, and unfortunately I'm in kind of a rush. I need to go to the airport and I'm going to be gone out of the country for a couple of weeks, but wanted to put this video out there for you all to show you how the wiring is done on this. The most tedious part of this whole thing is the wiring process where you route everything, and unfortunately I don't have that time today, but I wanted to put this video out there for the volume of requests I have received so you can make your decision. I'm going to show you the detailed installation guide up until the point where you remove this top dash, and then I'm going to put the manufacturer's video on how to route that wire and everything. And I'm still going to show you right now what it does. It has an ambient light built in. That is the addition, but other than that, it is exactly the same display. I went in a lot of detail showing you what that does, and I'm going to put a link down below for that video where step by step I show you everything, and that is literally it. For the function wise, this is just compatible for the Model 3 Highland with ambient light built in. Let's get started. This product was sent to us by Tesstudio.us. Of course, we have reviewed a lot of product from them in the past. They carry a large inventory of Tesla products, and as I said, very cool product that we have reviewed from them. So if you are in need for a Tesla accessory, please do check them out. So this is the product. So CarPlay with Android Auto, you see this is for the Highland version 2024, and it is showing as 706. Let's see if we do buy now, what happens. So shipping is free. And then so 706, but let me show you how you can knock some price down. So if you put in Shiva Tesla in the discount code, that should take off $155 to bring your total to $550. This is a full dash piece with the front camera included. This is an affiliate code, so we do earn a very small commission at no additional cost to you, which greatly helps us bring videos like this in the future. But I'll let you be the judge if the price is worth it or not. Thank you very much. Let's continue. So this is the entire packaging here. Let's talk about the wiring, how to set this up, and then we're going to show you in the car. This is the left side of the cluster piece. So you get the actual instrument cluster here. The top piece here is for the air vent. So that is where the air vent comes out, and then this is just a leather piece. So now it looks a lot better and more integrated because it's not like an add-on like the previous version that we have seen, and then the other one is the other half of this. So essentially this goes on the right side, and then this clip here just goes right there and then clips into its place. So that's how you're going to make the connection. These things that you see here, the white ones, these plugs are for the ambient light. So there is going to be the LED in the front, so that's where the ambient light plugs into. This is your front camera. So this entire assembly is for the front camera, and you see the yellow plug that actually comes through the front firewall and then connects to this yellow that is coming out of the instrument cluster. So this yellow goes to the camera. That's it. Super simple. The yellow comes out. We have shown you so many times how to route the camera wire. I'm going to show you and put that video here in a little bit during installation phase. Then that leaves us with this rest of the wiring. Now this one is your OBD wiring. So if you look at it, this is the OBD one that we're going to do a bypass in that front A pillar, and then we're going to do the bypass. That still leaves you with a female connection. So we're just going to plug in the male. It still leaves you with a female connection for other accessories in the future. And then this is a 12-volt bypass. So we have shown you many times on the AMD cars. This is for the 12-volt bypass that also works on Highland because Highland is an AMD car. Then there's only one plug out of this whole harness that goes and plugs into here. So this is where we're going to plug that. That means we're just left with the ambient light wiring. The computer wiring, the power is done. Now for the ambient light, if you look at it, there's this one plug that comes and simply plugs into this control box here. The control box has two wires, one for each ambient light. So control box only controls the ambient light side of things. It goes right here. That plug goes and plugs into the OBD, and then the yellow is just for camera. So there are three connections you have to make, one for the camera, one for the control box and ambient light, and the other one is from OBD and power going to power this entire unit. And that's it. That's the whole installation wiring. Now let's go and show you how this looks in the car. Now for the OBD connection, just like the AMD cars that we have shown you in the past, this is the Model 3 Highland, and you follow the exact same process. We're gonna remove the weather stripping here, we're gonna remove this side bracket, then we're able to remove this carpeted bracket from the front and be able to access the OBD plug as well as 12 volt right here. Let's go step by step on this. Now first thing we're gonna do is prop this out just a little bit, and that exposes some of the wiring in the bottom there. You don't have to pull this whole thing out, just that much is fine. Then we're gonna take our pry tool and we're simply going to pry this side up. And this is the first time I'm doing it on my brand new car. So it might be a little tight the first time you're doing it, but as time passes, this actually becomes looser, and this is the whole piece. In the older cars, this used to be a separate piece, this used to be a separate piece. Now it is just one giant piece. So you take that aside and put it safely. Then we're gonna have to remove this piece here. Next, we're gonna take a pry tool and simply lift up on this pin. That allows us to safely remove this pin. Just don't pull it hard. There is a space where if you just toggle this a little bit, it'll just come out. And now this actually loosens this whole piece and we're able to remove it. So in the AMD cars, this is a plastic trim, but here in a Highland, this is a carpeted trim. And just like the AMD, you just have to reach underneath here, and then this just props out. This whole panel just props out super easily. Now we have access to the OBDs. Now on a regular car with the AMD chip like a Tesla Model Y, you're gonna find this OBD plug inside here. You have to reach underneath and there's a blue OBD plug where you plug in your male connector from the new harness. But for a Model 3 Highland, this is your OBD. So Tesla actually made this nicer for us. Now what you do is you just take the male end and simply plug it in. This female end is still available for you to connect other accessories in the future. Now all we have left to do is the 12 volt connection, which is from right here. So what you do is you see this plug here. What you do is you just press on this middle tab on this plug, and then while holding that middle tab down, you plug this out. And then you take the new harness. It looks exactly the same. Now you take this new harness, the male plug from the new harness, and simply plug in here. So the male goes on the male. You can't get this wrong because they are fitted. It is exactly the same plug. Then you take the female side of this plug and simply plug in right here on the Tesla's male plug. There you go. Now, you didn't disrupt any connection because Tesla's male is coming to the new female. That is going over there to new male and then connected to Tesla female. So this is literally daisy chained with the Tesla's connector. What I don't like about this compared to the Model Ys in the past is that now you don't have a lot of room here to hide a lot of accessories, because I kind of preferred it on the side here, but this will do. Made it easier because the access is easier anyways. So now from this, there's only one wire here. This is what we're gonna route to the top. So what I would recommend is before you actually install the unit up here, I would recommend you run the wire and do a quick testing. Just in case the unit is faulty, you don't want to go through all of that process and then find out that it doesn't work. So let's do the testing here. And just like what I said earlier, the OBD and the power cable is coming through here. There is a plug that connects to the instrument cluster plug. The other plug that comes out of instrument cluster simply plugs right here. And then the other smaller one connects in the back, because as you look at it, this is a splitter. One connects to the ambient light for here, for this unit, and then the other one is the ambient light for this other bracket. We don't have to connect that, but you can test it to see like if this light is working or not. But I just wanted to make sure that the instrument cluster is working and then the light is working. It's a little bit hard to see during the day, but that green light shows that it's working. Now we can go ahead and install this. Now that we have tested the unit works, what we need to do is actually prop this out, because we're gonna be replacing this with the new dash. So to do that, there are some clips in the bottom. You just have to be gentle with this and then just pull on top here all the way through. Again, be extra gentle with this so you don't break any of the clips. For this camera connection, this is a plastic hinge that is going to be mounted underneath the front license plate, or if you don't have a front license plate, we're going to paste this directly on the front bumper. I'll show you where. They send you this very, very strong 3M adhesive. We had a previous generation installed for about a year now, and it is still going well with just the adhesive, no problem. But if you want further security, you can also put this screws in there to secure this this. But what you're gonna do is there is a orientation for the camera. It shows you a little arrow that shows going up. So this is the positive. So you wanna face this up like this. And all you have to do is slide the cable through here. So this part, and because this is going to be going on the bumper area, then what we are going to do is put this out like this, and then we are going to put the screws in here. So there are 2 screws that they send, the smaller screws, and we're going to secure this camera using those 2 screws right here. And that's it. So once we secure that, we'll paste this on top and then make the camera connection. So I've already put 1 screw over here, and it's the same exact process. You take one of these screws, put it in through the hole here, and then you secure it in place. And there you go. So this is good to go. Now we're gonna go over here, and we need to remove this panel, basically all of this, so that we can route the camera harness from underneath here, from the front, through the vents here, all the way towards the inside of the car. The first step is to remove the air vent here. These are just held down by a couple of clips, so shouldn't be very difficult to remove this. It just kind of pops out. Again, these are the clips that they are holding it down. So you just have to apply some pressure and then it comes out. Where things get a little bit different between the newer and the older Teslas. So the newer Teslas, if yours look like mine with the AMD chip, you're going to have 2 10mm socket screws here, and then there's going to be 2 10mm there. So those are the 4 ones, and you are also going to have a little plastic pin here that you got to remove. Now if you have an older Tesla, you're going to have 2 on the clips here as well as 2 on the front, and I'm going to show you how to do that here. I have a bookmark in the video to show you older versus newer Tesla. So this is for the newer Tesla. Again, this is where you're going to remove it. If this is what yours look like, these are the plugs you have to remove. There's 2 screws here, 2 screws there. So let's go ahead and remove that now. So you can take a standard socket wrench and then just remove this, or you can also use a drill, whatever your preference is. And just, I'm going to use just a standard socket and then remove this, but you can certainly use a drill, any power tools to remove this. Once you remove this, an easiest way to keep track of this screw is just drop this inside the front here, because we are going to be removing this whole thing anyway, so your screw will go with you if you just put it in the front like that. Next, we're going to take care of those 2 screws here. Again, it just takes a little bit to get this loosened, and then it comes right out. Next, we are going to just grab a pry tool and then remove this screw from here, and you just have to reach on that edge, that's the cutting there, and then this just comes out. That will remove this front panel from this unit here, so that you can easily remove this whole thing. Next thing we're gonna do is remove this panel here. As you can see, this is pretty loose already, but we do have to remove this here so that we can release this light, so you're not pulling on this light. Now, after you remove this panel, you should be able to just pull this out. But for some reason, if it is being stubborn, you can also use a small pin like this and push down on this bracket, the little tab that you see here, and then that should allow you to just pull this out completely. I would prevent pulling on the cables here. You should really focus on pulling on this bracket, and then as you see, it comes out. So that's the trick to it, is if it is being stubborn, this little thing is holding this in place. It's a design change from the older Tesla, so this is a little bit more difficult, but you can just use a little pin to pop this out. Now that we have removed all of this screw, the front is loose. We can just remove this super easily. There's nothing holding this in, and the whole thing just comes out. Remove the top air vent by simply pulling up on it. Be gentle with this process, as those clips shouldn't require much force. Remove the HVAC panel by gently pulling on it. It is held by those white clips. Pull up the front latch panel, take it out, and remove the front cable. Remove the front panel screws using 10mm socket. There are 7 screws, including the ones under the clips that are in the front. Remove the front panel by just gently pulling on the edges. Make your way around by starting on one edge of the car and go towards the other end. And for those of you who have never seen the interior of a front, this is what it looks like. It is that cover that isn't hiding all of this mess in here. and when you replace your power front and things, you have to tap here. But yeah, now we are going to reach underneath there through the air vents and then take that cable in and then route it from this side all the way to the back there. So what we're going to do is we're going to install the camera right here, so on the center here, so that the camera faces this way. We could do it in the bottom here, but as you can see, this is pretty closed up and it's pain in the butt to remove this. Never ever remove this without a plan. This is going to take you forever to put this back on. Unless you're planning on drilling a hole here, I would recommend you put the camera right here so that you will still see the front bumper. I mean, you can put this down, put it straight. We'll show you how to do all that adjustment, but I would find the middle point here and then put that camera here. Now we're going to paste it right here on this plastic part so that the camera kind of aligns here with the front, and then the cable we're going to pass it through here, and it's pretty easy actually through the air vent when the cable is going in. I'll show you from the top how I can see my hands coming here. So I'm putting my finger through here, and if we look at it from down below, you are able to see my finger right here. So that's how easy it is to pass that cable. Then it is all about wire routing and taking it to the back. So here's the camera, here is the cable for the camera. As I showed you earlier, this is somewhere in the middle for me, but I don't have to align that quite yet. I am just going to route this cable from the bottom, and then I don't need a fishing wire for this because I should be able to just feel it from the top here as I showed you guys earlier, and then get the cable. So here's the cable from the top, and now we can go ahead and install this camera and then route everything to the front. So Tesla helped me identify where the midpoint is because they put this vent accordingly. So there's 3 of these panels here. So 1, 2, 3. This one is in the very middle. 1, 2, 3. This one is in the very middle. So this is going to be your midpoint, exactly as a midpoint. Before you do anything, take a towel and then just thoroughly clean this area. Maybe put some rubbing alcohol or however you want to put it so that it is clean, so that the 3M adhesive sticks really, really well on the surface. So after you clean it, step 1 is to take this and peel this off from the back here, and then attach this. So this is the cover for the camera itself. Now align this adhesive with the camera and then just put this in. Now you have got the camera secured here. Now we just need to remove this backing and then stick it here, but just align the camera so that it is in the same distance as this bumper here, so that when you are looking at it, the camera is not showing the object is either too close, because if you put it here, it will show too close. If you put it way back, it might not show you as close. So kind of make this straight so that the camera is giving you the true indication of where the object is. Always be careful because this camera might not show the accuracy. There's no ultrasonic sensor here. It'll just show the visual to give you a general idea. So for me, it is right here, and then looks like if I put my camera right at the edge here, it is balancing this out. So all I have to do is remove this, the red cover from the other side. So I just have to peel this off, and then again once more align this so that I know where the center is. So I have that centered, and then here I have this centered as well, so that is vertical here. And then I'm gonna just lightly press it, step back, look at it, and make sure that this feels right, which this feels right to me. Now I can go ahead and just simply push it in to secure it in place, and that is all you have to do. Now the camera is secured, and I can adjust the angle, as I said. So if I want to just look straight down, I can adjust it, or if I want to look straight to the front, I can do that. Mine is gonna look like this because I want to know how close I'm getting to the bumpers, with those blocks, the concrete blocks on the parking. So mine is gonna be facing down like this. However you want to face this, it just make sure that it's not too far in or out. And oh yeah, this is secure. This is not going anywhere. But if you want a peace of mind, you can also put the little screws that they sent here to further secure it. But this is good to go. And now all we have to do is route this and then do all the wire routing on the top. I'll show you how I did my routing with the zip ties. As you can see, I kind of routed it along. All these yellow zip ties are the new cable management. So routed here, zip tied it all through. I'm gonna cut the end of the zip tie, routed it through here, and then I have passed it through there, and that's where I'm going to pass it through the firewall here. You can put electrical tape, zip ties, doesn't matter. Okay, the things get a little bit difficult once you reach this area after you routed the cable all the way through here, because we have to route that cable through the firewall to the front. Next, you are going to grab a diagonal cutting pliers and snip the tip of the wire grommet. Then you are going to insert a fishing wire through this opening so you can pass the wire to the other side. Then use an electrical tape to stick the camera wire to the fishing wire. From under the passenger side edge, find the fishing wire and pull it out. If you have a hard time passing this wire through the very edge, you can also remove the glove box bracket by simply pulling on it gently. You can remove the speaker cable and the ambient light cable from the bottom, but not necessary. Next, you're going to route a fishing cable from the side opening to the very middle part of the dash. Then use an electrical tape to stick the OBD connected plug to the fishing wire and pass it to the middle opening. You're simply going to leapfrog this step a few more times so the wires are hidden and pass through under the dash. You want to make sure that all the wires are hidden so it doesn't interfere with the dash clips. Follow the same step for the camera wire we routed earlier. Gently slide the left panel of the instrument cluster into its place. You don't have to fully push it down yet. You're then going to locate the appropriate wires and plugs we discussed earlier. The big black came from the OBD and power source, and yellow or the red plug came from the camera. Connect those to the respective ports. Then connect the control box assembly. The black plug connects to the black plug. Then the bigger white plug connects to the control box. You'll see a larger port on the control box for this plug. Prepare the splitter cable. Connect the single end of the splitter cable to the control box. Then connect the other two plugs from the splitter to each ambient light plugs on the dash. After connecting the ambient light to the dash, hide the controller box and attach the right dash piece into its place. Just push it down and you don't have to use any screws or tools to secure it. Do the same thing with the right piece and the left piece. Just make sure the display works and no wiring issues or no clipping issues. Just make sure everything is good, then the installation is complete. This is what the display looks like when it is fully installed at night time. When you open the doors, you will see a strobe flowing effect. This is true for both driver and passenger side doors and gives a really cool effect. It looks very much integrated with the car and matches the ambient light bar that you see on the Model 3 Highland. They also added intelligent mode, so the ambient light on this display actually flashes with the turn signal. So if you toggle the left turn signal, you're going to see that effect on the display light and vice versa with the right turn signal. This is really cool. They integrated the turn signal effect with this display. Of course, it also works with the hazard flashing light. Now, since lighting is the new thing that they added, let's just start with that. It goes one continuous loop all the way through. You've got the lighting that kind of connects and continues here, so that's what you get. Because of the lighting, it actually looks very OEM. If you look at it, it just has that. This piece, the leather piece, actually matches this leather piece, so it also looks OEM. Let me put some of the manufacturer's video to show you. It looks very integrated because of that. But with the lighting, you can actually control it from here. So if we were to change this to green, as you see, it connects, it changes to green, blue, red, whatever color you want. You are able to adjust that and it changes the whole thing, not just the instrument cluster, this whole thing changes. So they integrated that very well with the car's light. So that's a really good accent lighting here for the whole thing. So that's the biggest thing that they added is the ambient light for the Highland version. Another thing that is new with this compared to the previous generation, sorry for the shadows, here's a bright day, is that in the previous generation, if you put the car into drive, the front camera would automatically toggle on and it'll stay on until you reach 20 miles per hour, but you can also on demand toggle this by touching the screen or using the scroll wheel. Now for this one, what they changed was, let's put this to park. Now the car animation pops up. But now if we were to put this car into reverse, the camera still turns on, which is really good. Now you can see the backup camera on your main screen, but you can also see the front camera while reversing. So that's what they changed as well. You can still toggle the settings in Highland by just pressing this towards the left and holding it for a little bit, and then the setting menu pops up, and then you can just use the scroll wheel to go between different setting icons, and then pressing it left toggles that. And if you need to toggle a particular setting, you just have to use this towards the right, and then it toggles the setting on and off. And then if you go back, you gotta go all the way there and then hit return, and then it returns back. So the setting still is valid on a Highland as well. Now, just like the previous version, you can do the quick control from here. That means unlatching the different driver seat, volume control, CarPlay, all of that directly through here, and then go to settings. Like for example, I can fold and unfold the mirrors. I can unlatch the door, I can control the seat. So let me do a quick demo of that. So let me show you the mirror, the folding mirror here. You can just press this and the mirror folds. Control demo, as you look at it, it goes up, it goes back. I can fully control it just from here. For door unlatching, I believe I have to press and hold, so there you go. You see the door unlatch there. Now, other than those changes, this is the exact same display as the FY9C display we reviewed in the past. I'm gonna put a link down below that has a detailed install guide and all the functionality, all the features. We take you around on a ride, show you the Apple CarPlay Android Auto, the front camera, everything you need to know about this display. So that is literally the same display. So please check out the link down below if you want to learn more. So that's the display. We fully tested this. It works. The wiring and everything checks out. The functions work. We tested a couple of things, and this is exactly the same display that we have done a detailed step-by-step install guide for you all for Model Y AMD, as well as the Model 3 AMD and Intel, just not the Highland version. I am linking a detailed video from Tesstudio on this product and the install guide, as well as our detailed video on the Model Y and the AMD Model 3 version from the past. If you found today's video helpful, please give us a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and come back again soon for another Tesla accessory video. Thank you very much.